the witch hunt that you should be talking about is they caught President Obama absolutely cold. Tulsi Gabbard. Barack Hussein Obama, have you heard of him? And except for the fact that he gets shielded by the press for his entire life, that's the one they, look, he's guilty. It's not a question. You know, I like to say, let's give it time. It's there, he's guilty. This was treason. This was every word you can think of.
Remember when they gave that speech, when he gave a speech on television, and everybody was like, this. Mm-hmm. And then they go, it kind of just went away.
It was one of the most beautiful moments in modern American history. People really actually stood up and stopped a war from happening.
Barack Obama's polished image just took a major hit as Joe Rogan and President Donald Trump tore through it like a hurricane. They exposed broken promises and empty talk, showing what really sat behind the polished public face. It was all flash, lacking real depth. This wasn't just jokes, it was a strong, clear takedown of popular lies. No soft language. Just a raw and powerful teardown of a legacy built on charm but standing on weak foundations.
A glass of water? I'm serious. I'm thirsty. Can I get a glass of water? This is not a prank. You never seen it?
No.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Oh,
it's amazing.
No.
He gets a glass of Flint tap water, and I swear to God, he drinks it like this, like this.
Problem
He's
is solved?
bullshitting the world. Watch this.
Can I get some water? I really did need a glass of water. This is not a stunt.
Usually when something isn't a stunt, you have to say
It's
that.
100% a stunt. When was the last time a president stopped a speech to ask, can I get a glass of water?
It's there, he's guilty. This was treason. This was every word you can think of. They tried to steal the election. They tried to obfuscate the election. They did things that nobody's ever even imagined, even in other countries.
It's there. He's guilty. This was treason. Those, again, very strong words from the President of the United States.
Nothing screams leadership like a guy who vanished faster than his own economic stats. Barack Obama, famous for 8 years of polished words and shaky job results, is once again under the spotlight. And who's calling him out? None other than Joe Rogan and the current US president, Donald Trump, an unlikely pair you never thought would team up, but now can't stop watching.
Barack Hussein Obama is the ringleader. Hillary Clinton was right there with him, and so was Sleepy Joe Biden, and so were the rest of them. Comey, Clapper, the whole group. And they tried to rig an election, and they got caught. And then they did rig the election in 2020. And then because I knew I won that election by a lot, I did it a third time, and I won in a landslide. Every swing state won the popular vote. But I won that all the same way in 2020. And look at the damage that was caused.
Joe Rogan starts off by looking back at Obama's time in office, wondering how average results got dressed up to sound meaningful. The man had skill turning teleprompter reading into something that felt like a stage play, while serious problems crumbled behind the curtain. Rogan isn't just being funny, he's pointing things out. How does someone earn worldwide praise while leaving behind broken promises and a version of change that never fully showed up?
What? They would never do that. They would have water ready for him. No, you bring a fucking water on stage.
You'd think the Nobel Peace Prize comes after making peace not before launching drone attacks. But for Obama, timing seemed optional. Rogan doesn't hold back. He sees a president who surfed a wave of hype and redefined what it means to underdeliver. And then there's the press treating him like a hero while silently ignoring the promises left behind, like the one to close Guantanamo Bay.
President Trump shared an AI-generated video on Truth Social Sunday depicting the arrest and imprisonment of former President Barack Obama. The video opens with a montage of Obama and other Democrats that no one is above the law.
No one, especially the president, is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one.
After that, the song YMCA kicks in as a fake video shows Obama getting arrested by FBI agents with Trump smiling beside him. He's then depicted in an orange jumpsuit sitting in a jail cell.
Then Trump jumps in. Not the TV guy, not the deal maker, but the actual US president, and he's not here to play nice. He storms in like a wrecking ball, draped in stars, stripes, and you're fired energy. If Obama was all charm and smooth lines, Trump is the blunt dose of reality with facts in hand. He skips the fluff and asks how a man ran on openness but left behind a tangled mess of red tape and spy tools. Even the NSA blushed at Tet. He also calls out how someone who promised unity led 8 years of division like a runaway wrecking crew. While Obama floated above critique like a giant parade balloon, Trump grabbed the mic and popped it with straight talk. He mocks the idea that traveling the world apologizing, handing cash to hostile regimes, and still being praised as a diplomat makes sense. That's like handing your lunch to a bully and getting called kind. Joe wonders how many world leaders saw Obama as an equal and how many saw a soft speaker selling hope in books. The honest take: it's not a strong look.
This comes days after Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard announced plans to refer former Obama administration officials to the Justice Department for prosecution, accusing them of fabricating intelligence about Russian interference in the 2016 election. She reiterated those accusations on Fox News this weekend.
Maria, the implications of this are frankly nothing short of historic. Over 100 documents that we released on Friday really detail and provide evidence of how this treasonous conspiracy was directed by President Obama just weeks before he was due to leave.
But it wasn't just about laws, it was about the show. Obama could talk for an hour on healthcare and never say what it would cost. He could lead a talk on race without admitting tensions got worse under his watch. Rogan pulls back the curtain, the song lists, the celeb selfies, the smooth image. He didn't just lead the country. He acted like an online influencer. But hashtags don't balance budgets. Then Trump comes in stronger. He doesn't just question Obama's moves, he tears into the pride behind them. The Middle East turned into chaos during his term, yet blame always landed somewhere else. That kind of green leadership felt more like a fire dressed up in spin. And when it came to tech, Obama welcomed Silicon Valley like family, giving quiet nods as they built the tracking ad-powered world we live in now. The same system that follows every click, brought to life by a leader who claimed he stood for freedom. Trump, unfiltered and sure of himself, shatters the image. He questions how anyone can admire a leader whose team spied on journalists, twisted intel for politics, and still called it a scandal-free term like it was a news story made up. The irony: the same guy who praised democracy also used federal offices like tools for his campaign. Rogan adds fuel, pointing to government failures across the board. From the IRS, targeting conservatives, to poor care in the VA, Obama's record feels like a list of problems no one wants to bring up. He handed the people a loudspeaker and said, "Go fix it." But instead of unity, it sparked outrage. Labels spread fast, people got offended quicker, and real talk got replaced by angry tweets and campus fights. Then Trump lands the last hit. Leadership isn't about being smooth, it's about results. While Obama gave quiet speeches on America's problems, Trump reminded everyone that decline is a choice and he wasn't choosing it. Love him or hate him, he doesn't hide behind soft phrases. He says what he plans and crushes whatever stands in the way.
Because things are actually happening. Very different than most of the time when people get elected.
And I will shut down the Federal Department of Education and we will move everything back to the state.
Most of the time when people get elected, they claim all these things when they're running for president, then they get into office and not much changes.
Individualize education and do it with the love for their children.
And in fact, a lot of what they campaigned on, they don't practice at all. Great example is the Obama administration. The Hope and Change website had to be changed because there was a bunch of stuff in there about whistleblowers.
I don't think Mr. Snowden was a patriot. I called for a thorough review of our surveillance operations before Mr. Snowden made these leaks. My preference would have been for a lawful, orderly examination of these laws.
Protecting whistleblowers, which they didn't do at all. It was one of the worst administrations for whistleblowers.
As the takedown continues, Rogan compares Obama's scandal control to a magician's sleight of hand. Fast and Furious, Benghazi, and the VA disaster were brushed aside while headlines praised his latest Spotify playlist. It was a moment where flash beat truth and Rogan calls it out without blinking. Trump closes with a punch that hits deep. He says history won't be written by fans of Obama's fashion, it'll come from those who lived through slow jobs, global mistakes, and a government left in disarray.
I authorize the Armed Forces of the United States in a limited military action in Libya in support of an international effort to protect Libyans.
As the roast heats up, Joe Rogan opens the next chapter like he's stepping into a haunted house packed with missed chances. He brings up the famous red line in Syria, that big warning that turned out to be just for show. Obama drew it, made a scene, then did nothing when it was ignored. Rogan jokes it was like promising your dog a walk, then sinking into the couch with ice cream. And then there's the secret bundles of cash quietly flown out at night like a reverse robbery scene done in the name of peace talks. And what did America get in return? Just empty word-sallow promises that disappeared faster than Obama's old...
Oh, you go full screen.
What you know now, do you wish you had a third term? You know what, if I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony, I'd be fine with that.
We know he wasn't really running the country. Yeah. We used to think he was actually running the country. Now they're like, no, he didn't even see those executive orders. That was all.
Rogan steps in again, this time targeting Obama's fixation with legacy. He jokes that Obama might be the only president who planned his library before doing much worth remembering. It wasn't a presidency, it felt more like an ongoing PR campaign, boosted by media outlets acting like unpaid cheerleaders. He laughs at how the press still talks like Obama cured illnesses and walked on water, even though his team couldn't launch a basic healthcare site without it crashing like a student's laptop during finals. Trump, staying blunt as ever, doesn't waste time. He reminds people that what he walked into wasn't a clean slate, it was a mess dressed up to look like success. The media made Obama untouchable, but in reality, he set the stage for many problems they later pinned on Trump. Joe pauses, then rips into the odd obsession with looks over real leadership. Obama
went on stage, and he roasted Trump.
Donald Trump was here tonight.
And one of the lines he said to Trump, he said, I'm one thing that you'll never be, which is the president of the United States.
Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
And you can see Trump in his head going, okay, I'm going to run now. That one moment where Obama was talking shit to him might be the reason why Trump was like, I'll show you.
Rogan asks how anyone could cheer for a leader who spoke in polished riddles while American factories shut down and left town. If great speeches were enough to run a country, every TED Talk speaker would be in the White House. Trump laughs at the idea of leading from behind, calling it so soft it could have been Obama's personal motto. He wasn't leading the nation, just giving play-by-play as it slowly fell behind. While world powers flexed, Obama offered apologies. While rivals moved fast, he formed coalitions that couldn't even agree who was in charge. It was leadership, by committee, and the result was confusion and weak footing. Rogan lets out a dry chuckle, saying when pressure built, Obama didn't calm the flames, he handed out lighters and gave a speech. Trump steps back in, this time taking aim at education. Real reform, he says, means facing reality, not repeating nice-sounding lines. As they keep tearing into the polished Obama image, piece by piece, one thing's clear, this roast isn't done. More myths are on the chopping block, and the history books might need a rewrite because what media called a legacy. Rogan and Trump are breaking down with nothing screams leadership like a guy who vanished faster than his own economic stats. Barack Obama, famous for 8 years of polished words and shaky job results, is once again under the spotlight. And who's calling him out? None other than Joe Rogan and the current US president, Donald Trump, an unlikely pair you never thought would team up, but now can't stop watching.